fox and the green fox, little fox and the blue one, fox and the yellow one and the little and the fox.
Hey, Karens. We're back from hiatus. Yes, I know you all have missed us. We have missed you dearly. We're so excited to get back into season 3. This week, we are exploring the cultural moments that have profoundly shaped who we are as millennials. I don't know about you, but I constantly long for a time when you had to wait in line for concert tickets or when packed movie theaters were the only way to see a new release, when roller skating rinks were the peak social destination, and when plot-based TV like Dawson's Creek kept you glued to your screen every week. Remember sharing one computer with 2 or 3 other kids in grade school computer class? Cheering each other on as you pioneered your trail, ate squirrel meat, and eventually died of dysentery? Yeah, that's peak millennial right there. However, in true Karen fashion, we are delving even deeper. That's what she said. And exploring this generational stereotype. We are breaking down how Billie Jean became the origin story for millennial contradictions, why the shift from latchkey independence to helicopter supervision messed us up, and what it meant to grow up during an era when going online was a deliberate choice and not a constant state of being. If you've ever felt nostalgic for dollop sounds, family fights over phone line time, or the ritual of checking if you've got mail, this episode is for you. We're explaining why millennials seem so contradictory to everyone else and why we are certainly the middle child of humanity. Longest introduction ever. Hello, sorry, but we had some stuff there to get through. And we just really wanted to touch in on those millennial bones of yours. So
I loved every little tidbit.
They were so good.
do you feel like you're in 1990 again?
Sure do. Sure do.
Well, that was the point. We just time traveled. But before we get back there, we're going to fast forward into 2025. Hello, I am here with my co-host, Karen.
Hey.
Stephanie.
Hello.
Good job, you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, right. Hello. I'm going to have to turn my mic down for that one.
You got it. That was wonderful. So before we get into our topic for today, we have been off for some time. So hopefully in those weeks where we were apart, you were able to put on your Karen colored glasses and get some Karen stories for our podcast.
Karen colored glasses. Are they red?
I think they're like the kind of like Hulk Hogan glasses.
Oh.
Like
I was picturing, like the grandmas with like the red frames, thick red frames.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
What'd you say?
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yes,
Sally Jesse. Good callback.
Yeah.
That's appropriate for today.
So appropriate for today's
Thank
episode.
you. I was really proud of that.
I just glanced up at the time, and yes, we are recording. So I know that has happened before where we were in full conversation. So I had like kind of a panic, like, wait, is this really happening? It is.
It's happening.
It's happening. Okay, so who's going to kick us off this week with a Karen story? Did you just wave your hand at me, Karen?
I raised my hand.
You probably were the sweetest little student.
Oh my God.
I was a very good student. Yes.
Just by
And I was
that
a
hand
role
raise,
model.
I could tell. It was so
I eventually
adorable.
got bullied into stopping raising my hand because I got made fun of so much. So yeah, by middle school, I had withdrawn. It was, super healthy.
Oh, that is kind of sad.
It is.
Yeah, well, welcome to my life.
But that's why you make the salary you make now, and those bitches are working at McDonald's. I'm just kidding.
Dang. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. Let me get to my Karen story. So mine is pretty brief. But I just had this experience like a couple weeks ago where I had gotten on a rental car like shuttle bus thing. And so I had my suitcase and my work bag with me, and I sat down, and this man, like older man, said something. I was like, what? And he was like, I thought, I've never seen a purse so big. I thought that was your luggage. And I was like, oh, no. And then he like went on to say more about how big my bag was. My bag, by the way, was my work bag. It's a computer bag.
Right.
It's a normal sized. I should pick it up right now. It's just a computer bag, but he like wouldn't let it go. And I didn't need to correct him. It's like, I didn't, so I didn't say a word. I just kind of like did that awkward laugh and didn't really engage. It was so weird. Like the whole drive between the rental car place and the
Wait, were
airport.
you sitting next to him?
Yeah. Like, cause it was just, like one of those like Sprinter van things. And so it was like a U of seating, and he had sat down next to me or vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was super weird. It's like the quintessential, just like mind your own business.
Mind your own
I
business.
literally was just about to say, mind your business.
Just mind your business.
It was so weird. So I know that was like very minor, but he did it. And I was like, I'm putting that in my notes for Karen's stories. Like, just shut up.
Yeah.
And I don't
Also,
need to explain myself.
Yeah. And like, I had a similar interaction like this a week or so ago when I was at the grocery store with a guy who was like, I never buy that stuff. That as I'm like pulling it off the shelf, and I'm like, did I come to the grocery store to talk to you? Am I on this Sprinter van to talk to you? Like, what a weird way to want to start conversation with someone.
Yeah. And to me, I get, this is like a foreshadowing to our future feminism episodes, but I get very touchy about the assumptions that are made about women just in life in general. Like, I was there for work. I was dressed as if I was there for work. I had a computer bag with my computer and all my work things in it. That is a perfectly normal set of circumstances. And if I had been a man, the assumption would have been that that was my work bag. But this old guy could not comprehend that information. And so he saw a bag that sort of resembles a purse, but a very large one that's big enough to fit a computer. And he couldn't process the fact that like this is a computer bag. She is going to work.
Yeah, like why would you be traveling with a computer?
It was just such a dumb comment. I'm like, clearly this is not a purse. Like,
And if it was, also
mind your business. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know, maybe I'm a hungry lady and I need 6 meals with me at all times.
You don't know me.
You don't
know my life.
It would have been so much more like if you were curious about the size of my bag, you could have been like, oh, that's a nice bag. And then hopefully I would have said, oh, it's my computer bag.
Right.
But instead you were just like rude. And so I'm like, I'm not.
Get out of here.
I've never seen something that big. Oh.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Well,
I'm sure you don't hear that much, man. What about you, Steph?
So my Karen story is actually very traumatic for me.
Oh. For real,
like,
for real?
Yeah, like it burns me up in my heart and soul and spirit. So I do feel like
with yours,
this
maybe.
is kind of a long story, so I'm going to try my best because I know that we
at 10 minutes already.
I know I tend to wind, But I feel like you should understand that last year, like 2024, I decided that I, as a grown-ass woman, should have a primary care doctor, especially because I have, a lot of family history and stuff, and I made a commitment that I would add that to the list. And so I did a search and found a doctor. I tried her out last summer. She was fine. She asked a lot of questions, did a lot of follow-up. I didn't feel rushed in her office. She made some referrals. I was like, I'm okay with her. So I'll schedule my next annual for the following year. So I just want you to know, this situation I'm referring to is now my second visit to this doctor's office. So, my appointment was at 9:45, and as I tend to occasionally do, I was running a little bit late. And I got to the window, and the window was closed, and the person at the front desk stared at me through the window without opening it or saying hello or welcome. And so I did one of these side eye things, shifted my eyes and just stood there for a second. And then she opened the window and she was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, Steph, said my full name. And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, and she didn't say anything. And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. I'm 5 minutes late." And she was like, "Yeah."
5 minutes?
5 minutes. My appointment was at 9:45, and I got to the window. Actually, I got there at 9:49 or maybe 48, but I just rounded up.
And every doctor walks into your room 25 minutes late, so
sure.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, so I was like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "I know, I'm 5 minutes late." And she was like, "Yeah, and we're going to need to reschedule you."
What?
I was like, "Oh, no.
No, you're not.
I was like, no. I'm only 5 minutes late. My appointment was at 9:45. And she was like, "Yeah, but you were supposed to be here 15 minutes early." And I was
Then
like,
make the damn appointment for 9:30. I hate this.
I know. I was like, no. My appointment was at 9:45. It's on my calendar is 9:45. No. I am only 5 minutes late. And I was like, I took time off work to be here today. Mm-hmm. I need to be seen today. So if that needs to be later today, make it later today, but it needs to happen today. So I need to be seen. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "I'll just go get my manager." Her
Good. You're like,
I was like, "Go get her." I was like, "Go get her. Go get her."
What?
Her manager comes over, doesn't introduce herself, doesn't ask me any motherfucking questions, and says, "We can't accommodate you today." Ew. And I was like, I was like, "No." I was like, "I need to be seen today. I am only 5 minutes late." She was like, "It is 10 till 10. I was like, "Exactly. My appointment's at 9:45. And so if she joins in and says it's 10 till 10, then I really got there actually 3 or 4 minutes late, because when she joined the conversation, it was still just 9:50. Yeah, and I was like, "It's 9:50. My appointment's at 9:45. Jesus. I need to be seen today." And she was like, I was like, "Your sign right here says 15 minutes. And she was like, "Read it again." And I wanted to be like,
no.
Manika. I wanted to bust the window open. And so I was taken aback. So I looked to the thing, and it actually does say this message. I don't remember being there. Again, this is my second time in the fucking office.
Right.
So I look at the message, and it says, "If you do not arrive 15 minutes prior to your appointment, you may be asked to reschedule."
Ew.
And I was
what
like,
a stupid rule.
I was like, "Listen, I'm 5 minutes late. How about you just take me back now? And if, the doctor needs to send me out, I don't get my full appointment, then that's on me. That's fine. But I should be seen what the time you're spending having this conversation.
Yeah, this is wasting time.
This is my appointment time. Let me come back." And they're like, "No." And they started looking up appointments to reschedule. Oh my God. And I was like,
"I'll go somewhere else."
Yeah, you're like, forget about it.
My blood was boiling. They offered me an appointment when my family happens to going to be on vacation. So I was like, I can't make that appointment. And now my blood is boiling, but I'm angry and it's making me want to cry. And I was like, I gotta go. So I stormed out. And I left my keys on the counter, and someone sitting in the office was like, ma'am, your keys. And like, for them to call me back, like, I was not belligerent. Like, for, you know, for someone to say, you know, they weren't like, well, staring at me. So I went back and I like grabbed my keys and then walked out, and I just sobbed in my car. I called Steve, like interrupted it at work, because I was just like, I just felt so helpless. And I was like, so then I weighed my options. I'm like, do I reschedule? Like, do I now do another search for a new doctor? And so I pulled myself together, came back in, and I was like, I need to reschedule. If you look for another appointment, it needs to be on a Monday or Wednesday or Friday. Like, these are the parameters, especially if it's in the summer. And they offer me another appointment on a Tuesday. And then tell me,
listen to me again.
Listen to me again.
I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
They offered me, so then, anyway, I was not seen. I just want to tell you that I was not seen that day. And I was like, I started to tear up again. Because she said the next appointment will be till 2026. And I was like, you go from June to July to 2026. She was like, she is completely booked. And I was like, well, it looks like I have to find another doctor's office.
Yeah,
I was
goodbye.
like, here's the thing that kills me. I was like, have you ever been 5 minutes late? This bitch said. She's like, if you really want me to answer that, no. I was raised to be early. My mom raised me to be early, and
you said this bitch said.
And she was like, and I'm never late. I tell my kids to show up to things early and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and that right there is the problem, is that you don't have patience for people who run late. But guess what? You are a healthcare provider. So you're going to have a lot of different types of people who come into your office. Most doctors' offices offer you a 15-minute grace period, A. B, arriving early is reserved for people who need to fill out paperwork. Guess who had already filled out their paperwork?
Right. That's what
me.
That was my whole thing with this story, is that, like, so you're just holding people to this arbitrary standard. It has nothing to do with the efficiency of the doctor's office.
No. And they were like,
there's
you don't
nothing
understand
efficient about a doctor's office.
Right.
I know. Like, this is like, if we see you, that it's going to push everybody back 5 minutes, and then we get customer complaints. And the way you don't understand how we have things set up. And I was like, they're like, she's moved on to the next thing. I'm like, the next thing was me. So I should have been seen.
Yeah, and it's not like because I'm 5 minutes late, everyone else shows up early and she can just start seeing them.
Yeah,
That's not
and
how
what
this
if I
works.
had a doctor's appointment? What if she delivers bad news? Or I share something that requires her to spend a little extra time with me. There's a lot of reasons why doctors' offices run late. I'm like, my favorite doctor, my gynecologist, is phenomenal, and she takes her time with you. I know that when I get there, I'm going to wait. But when I'm seen, she takes very good care of me, and people continue to see her because of the care she offers.
Right.
And I said, you guys are not demonstrating care, and you are an extension of her. And I think that she would be really disappointed to see that you have turned me away for being 5 minutes late. I did also reach out to corporate.
What? That is, we were not expecting that.
It's like the flashback to the Facebook story where she was like, and I filed a complaint.
I filed a complaint.
It's ironic that my name is Karen.
No, it's not.
I was like, the problem is that this healthcare organization that owns the doctor's offices or whatever, owns like every doctor's office in Westerville. So when I did another search, another doctor I found that I was interested in going to also is part of this organization. And I'm like, so I was like, I need to know that this is not a corporate policy, and that I won't be treated like shit all over the city of like where I live.
Or that I now have to go to a 20-mile radius to get a doctor's appointment.
To get a doctor's appointment.
And I can't go to something in my backyard.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right. Well, we could spend all day on this.
Yeah, sorry. That was a big one.
I'm sorry. That did make my skin boil too. And I know how difficult it also is for people who are unable to get off of work, like you and your career and your profession. So when you do make your appointments, it is around your work schedule.
Yes.
And that is like a greater issue too, systemically, when we talk about,
not to mention
industry.
continuity of care. Like, I was not seen. My next annual appointment won't be until the fall. And, you don't care about my care. I should have been seen.
Seriously.
Like, at least get me back and get my labs drawn. Like, do something.
Right. Yeah. Say hello when I come to the
window. How about that?
Yeah. Little kindness. All right. And those are your Karens for the week. All right, bitches. I wrote it with an E in my notes too. Did you guys notice that?
I see that. I see that.
Today we're diving deep into some millennial trauma. It's all about the trauma after that Karen story. We're discussing how specific cultural moments, not just major historical events, but also actual songs, movies, and experiences have literally shaped who we are as a generation. I got to tell you, this research was really challenging. It was fun because of my sociology background, but there was a lot available. Like, I think more so because I'm in denial that I've been on this planet for almost 4 decades.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, how is there so much out there? Oh, sorry, pause. This morning, I realized how old I was because I walked outside in my bathrobe with a cup of coffee in my hand down the path to pick up.
Did you wear slippers too?
That's the only thing that was missing, to pick up our newspaper.
Oh my gosh, where you live, they still print newspapers? That's amazing.
Yeah, we have a paper boy. Aww. Yeah, so I don't know why I'm in denial, because that was a pretty picture of being old.
That was it. Yep.
So anyway, speaking of research, remember when we used to have to go through encyclopedias and how we used to actually have to read books and know index numbers in order to find what we were looking for? Like, if that was the case and we were doing this podcast today, like, I think I would still be in the bottom of my basement, like, trying to uncover what it was.
Would we be doing it on tape recorders with the little microphone connected to it?
Do you guys remember that? Like, waiting for your favorite song to come on? And then
record,
play
and
record
you get it,
two
like,
fingers
exactly right. You're like, yes.
Oh my gosh, I just tapped my desk with 2 fingers too. That's so
and then that was how we heard our favorite songs on repeat. God, wow.
Oh my gosh, my sister had this mixtape. Sorry, we're getting way off, but
it's okay.
She had, like, it was the best songs. It was like R&B and hip hop of the early 90s. It was called the Roy Mix after one of either her boyfriends or friends. And she had perfectly timed it to fill an entire side of the tape and then did the same loop on the other side so that, you know, the tape recorders that would like immediately flip and just play the other side. Yeah. So you would just get the perfect loop of this amazing
of this Roy
repeat.
Work.
Linda was serious with
Linda.
Yes,
music.
I see how you got your editing skills where they started.
Yeah.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, she's the reason for my.
Oh my God, my tooth just hit the microphone. Can you hear that?
Please keep doing that for our listeners.
For our YouTube listeners, did you notice we have new mics? We are something special. All right, so what are we talking about? Okay, I came across a specific book that's going to help us at least frame the first part of this conversation. It's called Millennials and the Moments That Shape Them. It's by Shaun Scott. And one of the things that he talks about is how Michael Jackson's Billie Jean is basically the origin story for Millennial Contradictions. So I knew with our host Steph here, that would be a great place to kind of like anchor this conversation.
Like I need to say more.
Yeah. So you're in for that, and then we're gonna layer in another author, Malcolm Harris. He has research on how childhoods have become professionalized, which as a teacher, educator, and mother, I'm very aware of this right now, but I was very curious about what does that have to do with us as millennials, and then to close us out, we can't get away without talking about the Oregon Trail and the concept of AOL adolescence. So it's suddenly all these weird millennials traits started making sense for me. So today we're going to break down 3 major cultural touchdown.
Touchstones.
Touchstones. The Billie Jean contradiction, the shift from latchkey kids to helicopter parenting, and what it meant to grow up during the AOL era. Because here's the thing. We're not just products of 9/11 or the recession that's going around a lot on social media right now, but we are also products of being the first generation to experience certain types of media consumption, childhood organization for youth sports, and digital socialization. So are you guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All righty then.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I love Jim Carrey.
Yeah, you do.
You know that. Speaking, I had to put a 90s call back in for Jim Carrey.
That was great.
You did it.
Also, it's very early for that for me, but okay.
I feel like I've been up for 20 hours. Rewind back to the scene of me with my coffee and my newspaper.
Exactly.
Okay, so something that I found interesting in Scott's book was how he connected the end of the Cold War and Reaganism to the rise of cultural wars. I feel like this is something that they talk about on Either You're Wrong About podcast all the time, which we love. And in our new system for hosting our podcast, we're able to link other podcasts that we like in our show notes. So You're Wrong About is there, Vibe Check is there, Handsome is there. Yeah, we're getting fancy. So if you're ever interested in learning more about this cultural war, or what do they call it, the Satanic Panic?
Yes, the Satanic Panic. But that was the 70s, right? 70s, 80s.
70s, 80s. So going into this time of the conservative movement, this book started with the fact that they're making the argument that without external enemies like the Soviet Union, conservatism faced what political scientists call the successful revolution problem. So cultural wars in our country were birthed from these questions of how do you maintain a movement based on opposition when you've won? How do you justify continued mobilization without external threats? And how do you maintain power when your original purpose of fighting communism has been achieved? So the cultural wars became the solution for the conservative movement, creating internal enemies to replace external ones. I see your face, Karen. It's like that emoji,
Yeah.
mind blown. Which allowed the conservative movement to maintain its oppositional stance and policy priorities even after the Cold War was won. So this is what Scott sees millennials as inheriting a fundamental contradictory America, a society that claimed victory and greatness while simultaneously being at war with itself culturally, economically, and politically, which some could argue was also with the boomers, with the Vietnam War. But the victory of the Cold War really solidified this. So just months after Reagan's For the Sake of Our Children, War on Drugs speech, and the passage of the Missing Children Act, Billie Jean drops in January of 1983, and we have this massive cultural movement where Michael Jackson is breaking MTV's color barrier while simultaneously society is supposedly becoming obsessed with protecting children. Because at the moment, we are the world's superpower. We're the savior of here, look at what democracy can do. And we're also just beginning to bus in and integrate schools into our backyard, right? Like I don't think people really recognize that like the 1970s ish was like the start of like that integration. There was, at least in Virginia, there was that like, what did they call it? There was a movement in Virginia where like conservatives weren't sending their kids to integrated schools. So they, so really in the 80s is when we start to see like integration start to take its shape and form. So that's the scene for millennials like us. This is what we're being birthed into. This is the earth that we're like, "Meh, I came here."
It's interesting. Like I am thinking of 1984. It's 1984, right? Where it's like Big Brother and there's like kind of 3 regions, and like depending on the day of the week the government is like, and we hate the North now, you know, and it's like, and then everyone has to pretend like we didn't just make friends with them yesterday. Right. That's what it's, but it's the call's coming from inside the house. It's no longer different countries, you know.
Right. And yes,
upsetting to hear all of this, so thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad that my research is helping. So here we are with MJ premiering the Moonwalk while singing a song which is literally about a Black man refusing to take responsibility for a child during an era of the exact cultural movement when society was publicly declaring its commitment to protecting children. Right. And so here's like, you know, the conundrum of like being a millennial, right? Is like we are birthed into this like contradiction of what America is. So I have some questions, but do you guys have any reactions to any of that besides what you were just saying, Karen, about like, do you hate the North now, or, you know, any other things before going into some of those questions? Because that was a lot of like context.
I'm interested in the idea that MJ's saying that he's not taking responsibility for a child because, like, as the man said, the child wasn't his. So,
but
what was he supposed to do?
But was it his?
I believed him.
We know. Where clearly
Steph is like, oh my gosh, is this song not what I thought it was?
Is it not?
The song, I believe, is about like groupies, right? Claiming that
because like there's this documentary on Bad 25. I know that Billie Jean's not on Bad, but Dirty Diana is. And there was a bunch of famous people being interviewed, and I hate to bring this artist up. I'm not going to bring him up. A very well-known artist, because he's a POS, was like, when I heard Dirty Diana, I was like, thank you, Michael, because you are bringing out to light that groupie situation and like the accusations and the hold that groupies had on like famous people and stuff. And it made me think of Billie Jean, even though like there's that connection there. And and so I kind of like, I guess I kind of just like, I kind of jumped into the narrative that was told by MJ and not really the story of this woman who's saying, yeah, it is yours. Right. You know, like you kind of empathize with the narrator and not really that there's this whole other side to the story that I don't know.
Well, that's, I think, is what is the contradiction, right? Is that like his story like actually did like rise in the song, and that is like the phenomenon, while also the conservative movement is trying to like say, we need to take care of our children, you know, whether they're yours or not, like you're the, you know, like we strong family values, right? And so I think that is the point, exactly what you're saying, of like, well, now we have this, the new perspective is actually MJ's perspective, and more people are starting to like lean into that as opposed to these conservative values.
That hit me.
This topic is, I don't know where, admittedly, I haven't read your questions in advance, so I don't know which direction we want to take it, but I feel like we're flirting very dangerously with a lot of social, political, social topics that, like, I'm a parent of an adopted child, and I'm getting, my blood pressure is currently rising.
Would you like to say more about that, or?
Not really.
Okay. So I guess like the question that I have, because there's two other topics here. So, who or what was the enemy in your household growing up? How we're seeing now. Like, have you seen those things of like Fox News is doing to our parents what they thought video games is going to do to us? Like, who was your enemy in the household?
I have an answer to this question.
Communism, crime, MTV, drugs, rap music. What was forbidden?
In Living Color.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Get
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
Did they ever say why?
Yeah. They
were like, "Homie, don't play that."
We were watching it, and it was all fine and good. And then Fire Marshal Bill encouraged some child to burn down a house, and there was like an uprising in the news, and they said this is inappropriate for children. It like influenced this kid, and so my parents were like, "Well, shut it down."
Oh,
I was not allowed to watch it after that.
Wow, that is not what I expected.
I loved In Living Color.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Wow.
My household was like, it's
Simpsons.
funny because when you were like, what was outlawed in your house or whatever, my brain went a totally different direction from like pop culture initially, which is a callback to like our religion and spirituality episodes. But I won't go that path because you triggered a thought. I could not watch The Simpsons. I could not watch Roseanne. I could not. Yeah. I could not watch Beverly Hills 90210, even though I secretly did. And I could not watch Melrose Place. Melrose Park.
Yeah, we can tell you couldn't watch that.
Yeah, and that one I didn't watch, but yeah, I definitely snuck 90210 because, like, come on, that was a social phenomenon. I had to watch that. Yeah, there was a lot of TV shows that my parents were like, I just don't need you watching this. In hindsight, I have literally never seen, I can say this like hand to heart, never seen The Simpsons. Not a single episode ever. It's so weird. But
I have seen it, but we weren't allowed to watch it. So I just saw it older, like in syndication. But when it was like fresh and new, I wasn't allowed to watch it.
it's still going, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
They have new episodes of the
it's
I believe
it's
so.
the show that never ends. Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
A perpetual fourth grader.
oh yeah, I never even thought about that. He just doesn't age.
Yeah, man. I used to have a Bart Simpson tape that I used to listen to on repeat. Like, it was like I had the Bart Simpson and the Chipmunks, and they had like songs, and I used to. So nothing was really outlawed in my
That
household.
checks out. Yeah.
I was watching. I mean, I think I watched like Chucky when I was like 6
I watched
years
a
old.
lot of scary movies.
Yeah,
I
because
was
I have
really
older
into that.
siblings, so like I think But
I think my parents were more concerned. Like, scary movies are just shock factor. Remember, like in the 80s, there was like Pet Cemetery and Children of the Corn and just like all of the Amityville Horror, like all those really cheesy shock factor things. But like, I'm guessing The Simpsons and Roseanne, and certainly 90210 is very like sexually charged. The former, I have to assume, has something to do with either the politics or, the undertones that my parents were like, nah, we don't need that infiltrating your little brain.
yeah.
So
I
didn't miss it.
I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna put a pin in that because that's gonna come up, I think, in our like AOL discussion, at least for me. But for what I don't. The only thing that I remember my mom being like is one day we were waiting for like church to start. It was like one of those things where we went like early and we had gotten there early. And I don't know why, because I don't know how this happened, because we were never allowed to change my mom's radio station. So I don't know I can't remember if I was like playing it on the radio or if I had like my Walkman in and I was just like singing it. But I was singing Red Light Special. And I was like, sing,
I love that song.
She's like, what? She's like, do you know what the Red Light Special is? And I'm like, no,
I'm not sure. I'm still not sure what that is. But I mean, I know what the words to that song are. I can do the math.
She's like, well, then don't be singing it.
Some of the songs, I know we've shared memes or GIFs or whatever about this. But like some of the lyrics to the music that we listened to in the 90s, now I hear it and I'm like, oh dear God. Like we were like little 10-year-olds singing Red Light Special as an example. It's
I mean, when it has a good beat, it has a good beat, okay?
I know. And you don't know what the words mean?
No, I wasn't even saying the words right. I'm like, I was saying the words wrong. So anyway, the whole reason for bringing this up is, and I think we've discovered this as adults, is that like when we're singing like Heal the World by Michael Jackson, or we're singing like some of these songs that like they were trying to like push out about how great and wonderful America was, underneath things really were not going that great. That started the war on drugs, that started like the privatization of the prison system, which actually acted the whole family values conservative movement, because more black men were taken out of the home and placed into prison. And so we as millennials, while we, were introduced to these like concepts of like, look at us, we're the world leader, we saved everybody, we, have this whole like culture and approach to family values, like what was really actually happening in our own homes was different from that. And so that is something that categorizes, I guess, I don't know the right word, but like when we look at millennials today and people talk about like who we are as a generation, that contradiction is one of the like major characteristics, I guess is a better word, that the research here is like we should look into like these things that like they were born into, right, of what we as adults in society like presented to them. And then moving us along to Kids These Days, this was a book by Malcolm Harris, and he says that in Kids These Days, he argues that millennials experienced a fundamental shift from the latchkey kid independence of the 1980s to professionalized childhood, which I thought was like such a wild term, but I see it now. And this transition profoundly shaped the generational identity as well. While Generation X grew up as latchkey kids with unsupervised after-school hours filled with self-directed activities and television, millennials became the first generation to experience systemic adult supervision and optimization of childhood time. Yeah, I know. I have thoughts about this, but one thing that I found in my research that was really fascinating is how they one of my articles talked about how Gen X was portrayed in movies versus the millennial. So like Gen X was always like the problem kid, like the older teenager who was like rough around the edges, where like the millennial was always so like innocent. And that was like the perception of like a latchkey kid versus like these new like innocent millennials who like need to be like, who need to have this optimization of childhood time that they were talking about. But really what caught my eye was Home Alone, because that is one of my favorite movies. Not even holiday movies. That is like one of my favorite movies.
And we just got back into it this Christmas because Max is like loving it.
It's so good.
So good.
And one of the things that it said, and this is probably why Maxwell was into it, is that it represents the fantasy of unsupervised childhood, which we like don't have, you know. So the film celebrates Kevin McAllister's independence and resourcefulness while simultaneously highlighting parental fears about children left to fend for themselves. So the shift from latchkey culture to organized after-school programming represents what Harris calls the professionalization of childhood.
It's fascinating.
I know. So here's his most brutal insight, though. And we talk about this with millennials, too, as a characteristic of the participation trophy. So participation trophies weren't about making kids feel good. They were about creating evidence of participation in the new childhood economy.
Ooh, childhood economy.
Yeah. So like that's where, you know, this whole shift onto after high school, you have to go to college started to really begin. And so people were noticing like, well, our kids have to be involved in more after school activities so that they can be
They can like build their resume.
Build their resume for college. And that's when we started to take away after school time for kids and play. And we started to build in like youth sports and trophies and competition.
Structure. Yeah.
So
It's fascinating. You're like generating so many thoughts for me because like we're getting close to summer. I know you guys are probably already on summer, but our school
we
feels
are
like,
June 18th or 19th.
oh, okay. Yeah. We're like the 12th or something.
I'm on summer.
Yes, you're free.
Yeah. For our listeners, we're recording this one a little bit early. So it's before school is out for some of us. And we're like, you know, talking with all of Maxwell's friends' parents about like, what are the kids doing for the summer? Because they're too young to just like stay at home yet. And the one camp that we've decided on for Max for the summer is one that's like it's completely less structured. Apparently the kids, it's kind of like choose your own adventure. So they have different stations of things and just free play, and the kids get to just do whatever they want essentially within the boundaries of this camp. And in the past we had done the YMCA, which is much more structured. It has like, you can sign up for different topics for different weeks, and you know, there's organization to your day. And anyways, so some parents have been saying like, oh, this one that you're going to, I think my child needs more structure, da 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 da. And I'm like, I mean, my child has ADHD and we're, you know, like theoretically on paper, he could use some more structure, but I kind of love that it requires him to use his, like, I was going to say executive functioning skills. I don't know if that's quite right, but like, you know, he gets to decide how he spends his days, and he doesn't normally get to do that during the school year. And so I think that that's a nice break from the norm, you know? Yeah. So that feels very current for me.
This is interesting to me because when I was younger, after school, because you know both my parents worked, so I went to a daycare center, but for a school age program. They had a school age program, so their bus or van would pick us up from school, and we'd go there for a couple hours, and then my mom would pick us up when she got off work. And so they had a summer camp, so we could go. So for school age kids,
we did that too.
Yeah, and so that my parents would drop us off in the morning, pick us up in the evening, and some days there'd be a field trip. We go to the pool. Some days we would, you know, there would just be. But there was a little bit more freedom, but it was pretty structured. But then, and that ended at 5th grade. So my parents were like, 6th grade, 7th grade is a little young to just be home by yourselves. And so the city that we lived in had like a Parks and Rec, like, but it was basically like they had high school kids running like a camp, and we would just get dropped off at a park, like a playground, and you would just be there all day. And the camp counselors would organize games and stuff, but for the most part, you're just outside all day. We were able to walk and get lunch. Like, we would go to McDonald's or we would whatever. There was, like, really, like, not even attendance. But, like, it was kind of weird.
And now you have, like, apps. You're, like, tracking your child's every movement.
And stuff. Like, I remember we would walk and find a creek and, you know, be out, and so many things could have happened, but like we just did whatever we wanted, and then we had to check back at a certain time, and then my parents would pick us up from the park, and that's what our summer was.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm kind of thankful that I had like a couple summers where there was a lot of freedom, and we were just outside playing games and stuff. And I did have that structure of summer too. But I kind of got to experience both, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was, for all intents and purposes, a latchkey kid because our circumstances were different. So my mom worked an hour away, and that was like generous if there wasn't traffic. So everything had to be done the night before because she couldn't come home, drop off lunches, like give us the key if we locked ourselves out. Like she couldn't do that because she was so far away, and she was quite frankly tired and didn't, was like, I'm not. And my siblings are 12 and 6 years older than me. So, their schedules started to differ. And so I remember like I would watch MTV before school, pack my lunches and get myself on the bus, and we would come home, and the expectation was that I did homework before I went outside with my little friends and played. And, I just like that was what I thought was like everybody else was doing. And so I think that there's also something about circumstance here. I think with what you guys are saying, what I'm seeing currently with parents, and that term helicopter parents is, yes, it's starting earlier and earlier and earlier, the professionalization of childhood. And that's why I was like, this is really fascinating to me, because we were not, I didn't think I grew up this way, but maybe like my peers kind of did have like a little bit more of a like structured, organized after school time. But I don't know. And so that's what's like so interesting to me is like how we got to this moment in time where I'll take Millie, for example, started rec basketball in March, and we get an email in May. Millie is in second grade, started rec basketball, that's when the program was offered for her. Started in March. And we get an email in May. Here's the tryout schedule for travel.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, she just learned how to dribble a basketball, people. Why are we doing
this
travel?
Is the stuff I can't. And also like, I had this idea probably in the March timeframe to maybe get Maxwell like on a t-ball team for the summer. He's never done baseball, but the kid can just like throw. So I'm like, as much as we've avoided baseball because it's a little boring when they're young,
It's a lot
I
boring
was
when
finally
they're older,
like, maybe just a little rec league, like park district, whatever you want to call it. And I swear this was like February or March timeframe. I was trying to find like what are the options in our neighborhood, and everything was full for the summer. I was like, I hate parenting now. You can't just sign up for something and then show up the next week. It's like, I have to plan his life
Months
a year in
advance.
advance if I want him to get in.
Yeah.
Like the summer camp I was talking about, the day that sign up opens up, if you're not signing up, you're not getting in.
Yeah.
I just can't
know.
stand it. It's so annoying.
It's hard. And I think, again, like the reason why this topic interests me is because it's like, where does that even come from? Like what STEM did. And I loved this research that said like, it was all from that. If we don't start them early, then they won't be able to have a college experience,
Get
or an
into the
adult
best
experience.
college.
Yeah. And it just I think internal wound that I feel, and I think I'm hearing you say, is that like it's all based from capitalism and competition, right?
Yeah.
And again, goes back to what we started with that whole idea of we no longer have an external enemy. We always have to fight somebody. And now it's an internal enemy where we're fighting like each other for space, resources, and it just creates this whole false narrative of lack and scarcity as opposed to abundance, which play and like a childhood of like wonder provides, you know? Okay, so
The other thing, sorry, I know
what?
move.
I want
other
to get
thing
to
I
I want to get to AOL.
The something that I have been talking about just recently with some of our friends who have kids of a similar age is in the state of Illinois, and I think 4 or 5 other states, we have the highest age. We have like a state law that says you cannot leave a child unsupervised. And it has some caveat for like an unnecessary amount of time, or there's some vagaries around this, but under the age of 14.
Whoa.
So,
Whoa.
right, 14. So like I have to have my child in some form of childcare, which by the way is not cheap because Bob and I both work until he is 14 years old.
No.
I was babysitting at 12.
My sister
was
used to watch, my sister's 3 years older than me. We used to go home from school starting when she was maybe 10 or 11. I think she went like for a year by herself before my parents took me out of daycare and we started going home together by ourselves. But like 14? I mean, that's nonsense. We're not teaching our children any life skills by setting that requirement. And you're costing so many families so much because we don't all have the resources that I'm lucky enough to have, you know, to have childcare after, or like a family that can watch them or whatever. You're like asking people to choose between careers, which you want everybody to have to contribute to this economy. But childcare is more expensive than a lot of jobs in this country. So like, what?
Yeah.
What?
This reminds me of like the trad wife conversation that we had when people were like, you know, let's just go back to the time when like, you know, people stayed home and did all these things. And it's like, yeah, but like your grandparents and your mom weren't really watching you. You were out like in the woods and
that's
getting
right.
messy, you know, like it's not the same. It's like in this age, if you stay home or whatever sacrifice you're making to either work or stay home, you now need a car. You need to like be able a license to be able to like take kids to all these different sports and stuff. It's not the same.
No.
The situation is very different than before. So like again, same thing with like a 14-year-old taking care of themselves. Like it's a little different than, you know, like before. They require a little bit more. That's odd. And plus, what a like random number.
Yeah. 8th grade.
So old.
Okay. Can I move us on?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So we can't get out of here without talking about AOL and dial-up. Our last author on the plate up at bat, Maxwell.
I wish I had one of those dial-up sound clips now.
I know, and your little, it's so distinct. For us, if I played that sound for Brielle, she'd be like, what is that? So Anna Garvey, author of The Oregon Trail Generation, Life Before and After Mainstream Tech, calls this the last gasp of a time before sexting, Facebook shaming, and constant communication. The AOL experience was characterized by ritualistic connection, which you were just talking about, waiting for dial-up to connect, hearing, "You've got mail," and navigating chat rooms with age, sex, location queries. And this didn't really happen as much in my household, but I know it happened in others. Family negotiations that's saying it nicely. Family fights over phone line usage. I remember that episode on Full House when DJ wanted her own phone line. Or like wanted her own, like they had to do something with like the phone line dividing up. Anyway, unlike today's constant connectivity, AOL adolescence required intentionality and patience. You had to choose to go online, wait for it to work, and knew your time was limited by family phone line access or hourly connection cost. This created a generation that understands both the profound social power of digital connection and the value of digital boundaries. So, I have some questions here, but the reason why I was putting a pin in the conversation about Roseanne and what were forbidden in your household is because right now Brielle is of age where she is requesting that she have social media. And because of my understanding of AOL chat rooms, also predators on the internet, also my navigation of social media right now, it is a hard no. It is a hard no for me until she's probably out of my house and she can get it herself. But of course, her argument is, but everybody else has it. And I pull a Blanche, but I'm not everybody else. So this is interesting to me in that I am tech savvy enough to navigate social media and know it. And also to know the importance of disconnecting from your device. And so I don't know. I really wanted to like put this into the conversation because I think that that's something that is a value of being a millennial parent right now. And I am appreciative of my experience of being one of the pioneers of social media and technology in this capacity to have an understanding of the boundaries to set within my own family,
I do think I think I texted the two of you or maybe our Bob text as well when Florida passed a law, I think last year, that was outlawing the use of social media in children up till I think 14 or 16. And I remember I read that article like 3 times because I was like, wait, I think I agree with this, but normally Florida's passing stuff that I'm like, what
geography, is this correct?
I think I texted that exactly to you guys. Like, I think I'm on side with this one, right? But I think that type of legislation is so important because peer pressure is real, and you don't, as a parent, you don't want your child to like feel different, or like go through that.
Care.
I know. I don't care in this.
I know what you mean
in this topic for sure.
Yeah.
But you do want the best for your, like the best childhood, the best experience for your children. I remember like we couldn't afford Abercrombie when I was in high school, and all the kids were wearing Abercrombie, and like I just felt different, and like I don't want my child to have those feelings. I know at some point they always will. But this is one of those things where I'm like, yes, legislation would be amazing because for their brains, for their development, for their self-esteem, not having access to social media is so important. And controlling that on an individual basis is not going to happen. Like we see, so many kids are on social media, and you see like the horror stories of what happens when it's abused. So yeah, I just hope our government and our legislation catches up to that sooner. This is just the lag of our slow government being responsive to a rapidly changing technology environment. And it's scary.
Yeah.
And that's my soapbox.
I liked here too, where it was talking about like simultaneously hyperconnected and nostalgic for disconnection. Like I like that we, had to experience that lag, right? Of like, here's the dial-up, here's how much it cost, right? So there was like also like the like price you have to pay to be on it longer. And how there are conversations, and I don't know if it's happening in legislation or not, but conversations about maybe having a time where where social media is just not available. Like that site shuts down at 10 o'clock, no matter where, 10 o'clock in your whatever region, and then everybody is disconnected from it at a certain time.
Yeah, it's like the stock market.
Yeah,
you can only trade during certain hours. Yeah, I think this is an entire episode that we should do on this topic. I just feel like there's so much to unpack with that experience of growing up in a time where we didn't have constant connectivity to being now, as we're talking, Bob is shooting me texts about whatever it is that they're doing. And and just that constant distraction or my watch now buzzes every time somebody's trying to get a hold of me. And I remember when I first got the watch, I was like, this is causing me so much anxiety. Yeah. Just the constant feeling of, messages coming at, multiple ways. I'm like email on my computer and my watch is telling me something. And then my phone is telling me something else. And I'm like, this is overwhelming. So I don't know. I think that's
just saw a TikTok yesterday of a guy who was like, don't expect me to respond in the group chat. He's like, sometimes I'm the only one here, and it's so true. I'm the only one here. I'm on 25 different group text messages. I'm the only one working right now. Yeah. I can't respond to all of these immediately. Yeah. So just have grace. You might get a response in 48 hours, 72. Yeah. It might be within the week.
I know we talked about it before as well, the unread, mark is unread.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's, since our conversation about that, it's been very empowering to me. So I just if I don't feel like doing it right now, I'm going to mark as unread. And if it comes 3 days later, I'm sorry. That's just my life. And you know how important you are.
Wow, she hasn't responded to us.
I was going to say
immediately, so I guess that means we're not very
a little
important
sad right now
on her priority list. So with
been
that,
waiting for
let's
you to
just
figure
close
it
out, and then we'll go fuck her up. No. All right, ladies, do you have any ahas? If not, I have a fun game.
My only aha was that I thought today we would be talking about Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, TRL, Full House, Saved by the Bell. Yeah, that's what I thought today would be, and you made me think really hard on a Sunday morning. So it was really good conversation. That was just not at all what I expected for millennial porn.
Yeah, I love.
I have a comment about that, but yeah,
kind of reflecting on. Our technological evolution, from starting the conversation about being dropped off at a park to this constant connection and the constant messages that we're getting all the time. Even, cell phone, I didn't have a cell phone until my freshman year in college, and it was, T9, I think my first
for
one
the
didn't even
kids
have a
listening
camera on it. Do you know what I mean? And now my 3-year-old is asking me to play videos on my phone for her, and it's a whole computer at your fingertips.
A whole computer that we couldn't even imagine was capable when we were young.
Which is why you didn't need that big ass bag at the airport.
But it's just how cool that we millennials have gotten to experience it all. I feel kind of lucky. Yeah, it's kind of my confessional. It's I feel I'm really thankful. We had just those digital cameras in college. We, it wasn't the polished pictures that these young college kids have now. No, that wasn't our experience, and we got to act a dang fool with a little bit more anonymity, and just feeling kind of fortunate that we were born when we were born. Like,
Yeah.
well done, parents.
I love
Nice
that.
timing.
Yeah, I love that too. That's why I was like, we really are like the middle child. Like,
we are.
you know, we were just right. We were right in the like cusp, but we're too old for Gen X, and I mean too old for Gen Z, and too young for Gen X.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why being a millennial is the shit.
It's the shit.
But to Karen's point of like, yes, I went into this research like wanting it to be an episode of that, but I also wanted to honor like what we do here on our podcast, which is like a great way, I think, to like segue out of like this episode, is that, you know, we do dive deeper into these concepts. And so I was trying to figure out what is the meaning behind like our fascination and our attachment to these pop cultural icons and these cultural moments. And so when I stumbled across the cultural wars started in 1980s by the patriarchy and capitalism and quote unquote democracy, I was like, oh, this is what You Can Call Me Karen is all about.
Yeah.
And so the way that I would also say that like maybe we do each season we come back with like a little nod to millennials, because we are just scratching the surface of the childhood. We haven't even gotten to like the boy band Britney phase of millennials, and then the Obama era of millennial. You know, like there's so much. Like I said, we've been here for some decades.
We've been here for some decades.
We are history now.
We are history now. People are writing books about us.
Yeah, that's weird. So weird.
So anyway, all right. Well, thank you all for joining us this week on You Can Call Me Karen. We are so excited to be back. We are so thankful for your listenership. Please do us a favor, and if you like this show, please share it with some of your friends, particularly your millennial pals. This is a podcast that talks about everything that we are experiencing right now in our age, and we don't offer advice. We just kind of, you know, just go off of like what it is that we're experiencing in the moment, and we hope that you enjoy our conversation. So to show us that, please like, subscribe, and share, comment on Instagram at You Can Call Me Karen _pod. And you'll find us on YouTube at You Can Call Me Karen. And with that, it's a wrap. We'll see you next week. Bye, check.
And the fox, and the green fox, and the fox, and the blue one, and the fox, and the yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same.